Exodus chapter 3, we find this bush was burning, but not consumed. And right now, the nation of Israel, in the nation of Israel, by the way, beloved, has gone through some fires, has gone through some problems, but nevertheless, it always will rise above the ashes and will not be consumed. If you notice with me in Exodus chapter 3 and verse number 8, Exodus chapter 3 and verse number 8, because God began to say, I've seen the affliction of the taskmaster, verse number 8, and I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them out of that land unto a good land, and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and don't ain't just does no sight, you want to go to school. But nevertheless now, that God told them nation, I will bring them and deliver them from all these particular nations. Now Israel, the children of Israel, can be symbolized like a bush going through the fire, but not consumed. Nation after nation came up against her, and Israel yet stands. Pharaoh, as you know, in Exodus chapter 3, was against her, and yet she yet stand. Egypt was against her, and yet she yet stand. Rome was against her, and yet she still stand. Persia was against her, and yet she still stand. Every nation now, beloved, according to every nation, beloved, have somehow at some point brought a judgment against the Jewish people, but every time they bring judgment against the Jews, they are still God's chosen race and God's chosen people. And God said, I will bless them that bless you, and curse them that curse you. And every nation that rises up against Israel, they may go to the fire, but they'll never be consumed. In Exodus chapter 2, Pharaoh found it on the hard way when God brought 10 plagues into the land of Egypt and devastated and decimated Egypt. And even to this day, Egypt is a nation, a base nation, but she'll never get the status that she was back in the days of Berean, back in the days of Moses. In the book of Exodus chapter 3, verse 6 and 2, you find the book of Exodus, the book of Esther, you find again Ahasuerus was the king at the time. Haman had put a decree. His decree was to kill every Jew at a certain date. And God delivered the Jews in the book of Esther, in the book of Judges. Nation after nation came up against Israel. And nation after nation, Gideon Truman made something, and I want to go on the record to say. He began to list it, even the United States of America, that every time a nation they try to push Israel in land for peace, something happens to the nation. Now bear in mind, you notice when God went against Egypt in Pharaoh, Exodus chapter 3, God attacked Egypt from the water, turning the river Nile into blood. God attacked the agriculture, the locusts. God attacked by the hail, and all that took place, God brought from Egypt, the devastator, the decimator, for what you did to Israel. And here's one on the record. It said that William Grady did an article from the past two presidents. He did some research, and I'll share one or two of those with you today. He did research just with America herself. He said every time American government or the American president have tried to push Israel for the land for peace, something tragic happens in this country that's unprecedented. Something happens here that is unprecedented. Let me give you an illustration. I have so much to share. I'll not share all with you again. Remember President Bush was president. He is now trying to speak against Israel, trying to push Israel. He is now sent, and then Vice President Cheney to begin to speak to Israeli people to try to not build the land of Gaza and try to stop them from bringing upon their, inhabiting or building houses in the Gaza Strip. Now in 1990, when President Bush was doing that, a powerful storm developed off the north coast of Nova Scotia, packing sustained at 73 miles per hour. Notice again, all normal hurricanes start off the coast of Africa. They start off the coast of Africa and they move up north here, hitting Florida or Louisiana, hitting Florida.